you something. With all the distractions that you have off the field, how are you able to keep focused on winning football games as you do and do throughout the year?
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
Marketing come up with that for him. Those were his phrases that he came up with, that he believed in.
Just win. Play hard. Try not to make mistakes. But don't worry about mistakes, because there's only one thing that counts. Just win.
Yo, welcome to another episode of the 2 for 1 Nation podcast. I'm one of your hosts, you feel me? SC Raiders Talk, also known as SC Eric, you feel me? Um, my co-host will join me in a bit. He's running a little late, you feel me? But shout out to everybody, man. Blessings to you guys and your families, man. I appreciate you guys for being here so far, whoever's here so far. Of course, hopefully everybody's having a great week. And yeah, shout out to everybody that's here, man. Let me shout out everybody that's here so far. I'll wait. Shout out to Robert Penna in the building. What's good, Robert Penna? Raider Paul. What's good, Paul? Good to see you, Paul, as well. Shout out to Tubi Chile. What's good, Chile? Good to see Anthony Estrada in the building. Salute. Good to see you, SoCal Sal, in the building. What's good? What's good? Let me see. Shout out to Auntie Six Soldier in the building. What's good, Auntie Six? Kevin Lurker. What's the word? What's good, Kevin Lurker? Sam Tanka in the building. Salute to you as well. One show per week, Eric. That's how it be, bro. But I'm just preparing myself for next week because next week, uh, I believe Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 combine days in a row. So yeah, you're gonna see 4 lives next week, 4 in a row, and I'm gonna repeat it throughout the show. 4 shows in a row next week. So it's gonna be interesting. And I might do one Tuesday, so it might be 5 shows next week. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Shout out to everybody, man. SC, I was watching film on Alvaro Martinez for safety from Miami. What are your thoughts, man? First of all, he's tall as shit, so you know he could snag the ball from the air easily. You feel me? I heard he'd be working out a lot, so who knows? He probably got the upper strength too. But shout out to you, Auntie Six. What's good, man? And then bring out my co-host, the other half of the 2 for 1 Nation podcast, man. You already know him as the king of brown crackers. You feel me? Also, has a lot of slogans, and also, the you could say the creator, the leader of the congregation over there, man. My boy, the other half of the 2 for 1 Nation podcast, man. Y'all know him, y'all love him. RaiderTwuan in the building. What's good, Twan?
Hey, what's good? What's good? Blessings to everybody today. 2 for 1 Nation podcast. Two brothers for one nation. And y'all know it's the Raider Nation. Shout out to everybody out there. I mean, everybody. Even the people that don't want to comment. Hi.
Shout out to everybody, man. You already know what it is. Brandon C was good. Good to see you. He says Justin Fields is smoke. Let's be real here. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about Justin Fields. That's why I put Raiders have their eyes set on which quarterback. You feel me? I kind of reworded it a little bit. Um, so we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna see. We're gonna see if we're gonna break it down. We're gonna break down the news, break down how it's breaking down, and then break down that breakdown. You feel me? So we're gonna talk about it. But I do know that the Raiders are gonna be aggressive for a quarterback. So let's get straight into it, right? Let me throw out some news first, and then we'll get into some of the topics that we're gonna talk about today. First of all, the Raiders did another hiring, another head coaching experience guy, Joe Philbin as a senior offensive assistant to their staff. Once again, Antonio brings in another head coach experienced guy to the staff team, which is very, very interesting, which is good. People, I've been seeing a lot of people in the comments saying, who the hell is this? What is going on? What the hell is going on? Well, you got to realize what they're doing. They're pretty much bringing in guys that are going to just complement each other at the end of the day, man. But shout out to Circus Raider, man. Justin Fields is what happens when you order Lamar Jackson off Timu. We'll talk about it right now, man, because I know Justin Fields is a hot topic right now. Um, and then in other news, which it kind of leads into the quarterback talk, Jimmy Garoppolo helped the Raiders by him getting a 2-game suspension. I believe, don't quote me on this, it's an 11.25 extra money when they cut him, if I'm not mistaken, which meaning we have a higher cap space now, and we're able to do more now because of Jimmy Garoppolo doing whatever he did, some substance. I don't know what he did. He probably went to a casino, got high. I don't know what he did, but it's a 2-game suspension, which makes the Raiders able to, once they cut him in June 1st, I mean, they could earn more money. So how you
So
feel about this, Torn? Yeah.
so what happened with Jimmy G is Jimmy G took a prescribed substance, and I'm using these words because these are the legal words. He used a prescribed substance, but that prescribed substance that he was using did not have a sign off from a therapeutic professional. So he was taking some medication, right? But he didn't have a doctor signed the medication off.
Mm.
So, and because it was a medication that needed a sign off on it, that was the violation. So I know a lot of people want to run with, oh, he was, taking the blue pill. If y'all know what the blue pill is, you know what I'm saying? Chew it and do it. But it wasn't like he was shooting steroids or anything like that. The technical terms is that he ate, or he didn't eat, but he took a prescribed medication, but the medication that he had didn't have the proper sign off on it. So, but that works again. That works for us. Like you said, that's money in the bank. You know what I'm saying? I've heard other reports that it might be even more than the 11.25, but even with the 11.25, with a player that we were already trying to figure out how we were going to get rid of him, good. You know what I'm saying? That works for us because, I was saying in regards to quarterbacks that we were going to have to keep him just because of the dollar amount that he had on the books, you know what I'm saying, in regards to the contract. But because of this and the voids and everything else, it actually helps us. We're still going to have some dead cap, but it just depends on what Mark Davis decides to do. You know what I'm saying? Because big baller Mark, you know what I'm saying, he might just go ahead and break them off, and then we'll be able to completely get rid of Jimmy G. So we'll see what happens when that time comes. But it's a good thing for the Raiders.
I just realized I was muted. My
I was
bad.
like,
Jimmy Garoppolo's trying to hit me off, bro. He's trying to hit me off. He doesn't want a shit leak. Uh, Damn, guess the NFL suspended SC's audios too. But what I was saying is that obviously it's a good thing. At the end of the day, there's a lot of how do I say this? In some cases, it's kind of split in between the Raider Nation and do we need a lot of needs? Is it a little bit of needs? For me, it's just a little bit. Um, people may disagree, but that's all right. I just think that when it comes down to this team was already built to be better than what it was last year. It just needed the right, I guess you could say, the right lead, the right guy to lead them into that direction. And you've seen in the beginning half of the year, Josh McDaniels did not lead nothing, and it kind of cost a lot of the demeanor, the energy, the effort, and all those things in between. And then when Antonio Pierce came in, the energy started picking back up, but it's already the second half of the season. You could only do so much in that time span, and in that time span, there was a lot of bright spots, low spots. The low spots obviously are like his time management was bad. We still scored 0 points against the Vikings, stuff like that. But then the bright spots is they showed what they can do. Um, Not only that, they went 3-1 against the AFC West opponents. So at the end of the day, there's a lot of bright spots too. So for me, I kind of like looking at the glass half full, but also we gotta be realistic with it. And I think we're only a couple places away, right? Who's gonna be under center? The center position itself, right? The guard position, tackle, and then you got what, one more wide receiver maybe, and then a tight end, another extra tight end, and then you go onto the defense side of the ball. All you really need is a defensive tackle, a linebacker, a cornerback, and then just fit the rest with dead pieces. Um, so it's pretty much nothing. You could do that with the cap space we got, the assets we got, the draft we got, the draft capital, and you could all do it in just one off season, I believe.
there,
So
there's so many ways to go about it, you know what I'm saying? And me and you have talked about it and we'll continue to talk about it, but there's so many ways to go about building this team. And we that's why we have these discussions and sometimes lightweight arguments in some cases with other people, but it's because there's so many ways to go about it. But I think there's one thing that most of us can say is that if they do whatever way, it can be taken care of in this off season based on where we are as a team. Like you said, there's only a few pieces that we identify that need to be really addressed, and then everything else definitely can always be upgraded. But you can wait till next year to get another safety, or you can wait another year to possibly get a linebacker, or what I'm saying. It just depends on what, but that offensive line definitely we need to take care of. It was funny because I'm sitting here laughing, when you were talking about who's under center, and I'm like, when you said that, I was like, dang, we got to worry about who actually is going to be the center. You know what I'm saying? But after we check those things off, that can be taken care of free agency or in the draft. But again, it can all be done this off season.
that's a fact. And I'm not saying Super Bowl next year, but I am saying we could easily be a playoff team next year with the right moves. And we need to bring star talent. No more of this. Oh, let's just get guys that could possibly be good, right? But let me shout out who's here, man. Shout out to Cool Kev. What's good, Cool Kev? Anthony Provincial in the building. What's good? My 2 cents. Salute Raider Romero in the building. Raider Biggs. He says if Raiders trade up to number one, do we draft Jaden and pass on Caleb? Ooh, that's an interesting question. Huh. I gotta think about that one. I really like Jaden Daniels, but something about I don't know what it is with Caleb, bro. Even though I keep saying like I'm kind of off him, he's got a lot of raw talent, bro. I don't know.
You're it is that's a good question, but I'll say it like this: your guy is your guy, no matter where he. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? If and I say it like this because I like Jaden Daniels personally, but if Jaden Daniels is really their guy, then you're going to go get Jaden Daniels if you're moving up. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to say, well, Caleb's here, so I'll just go get him. You know what I'm saying? No, you're gonna get what like same thing when you go to the shoe store, right? You're gonna go to whatever shoe place and go get the Jordans, right? The Jordan 8s or whatever, right? When you walk in the store, you ain't gonna be like, oh, let me go see what these black Air Forces are. Like, no, you going to go get those Jordan 8s. So if they identified in the organization, or obviously the offensive coordinator is going to have his say. AP is probably just going to be able to just say, yeah, if that's your guy, then go ahead. You know what I'm saying? But outside of that, whoever they identify in that room who their guy is, that's who they're going to go up and get one. And I think that's going to be for any team. If even though Caleb may be, for us, voted the number one, quarterback, who knows what the Bears may say? They may feel like Drake May is the best thing since sliced bread. You know what I'm saying? And that's their number one. So yeah, that's my answer to that. I like Caleb, but again, it just depends on what this organization feels. And it seems like a lot of reports now, a lot of reports that have been coming out have been leaning more towards what they like in regards to Jaden Daniels. So.
And either way, I don't think I'll move up to the number one spot. In all reality of it, I don't think the Raiders need to move up to the number one spot. I think you can get your guy in the top five easily, out of the number one, two, or even three. Um, there's a lot of things going down in the quarterback realm, right? You got people like JJ McCarthy moving up in the draft board. You got people like Drake May starting to arise. You're starting to get even Bo Nix hype a lot, on him rising. So it all depends, kind of like what Twuan said. It kind of depends on what these organizations think of these certain players. In certain players' eyes, for us, we may think they're, let's just say, ranked number one. Jeffrey is ranked number one, and then for the Steelers, they could have Jeffrey at ranked number 8 in the quarterback list. And then it's like, okay, well, two different philosophies, two different scouting. So for me, obviously, I wouldn't go up to number one. But because the question you asked was, of course, who would you draft? I would probably go more of the Jaden Daniels route because I feel like there's too many factors that leads to, I guess you could say, not downfall. I would say like wrong decisions with Caleb. I mean, for one, with Caleb, he comes with a lot of media attention, a lot of stuff like that, and that could lead to a lot of bad things because at the end of the day, the guy's young, and then he's got a lot of problems. His parents are getting into the mix. I heard his dad was kind of going crazy over something. He's already demanding stuff like he's the best player in the world, saying, "Hey, I don't want to go to Chicago. I want to go here." Well, sorry to break it to you, the NFL draft is whoever drafts you, whoever drafts you. There's no, why would you complain about going to a certain NFL team? And as a USD fan, hey, I like him, man. He has a lot of raw talent. With the right coaching, he could be something very, very, very special. But at the end of the day, bro, I don't like that extra shit. Painting nails, stuff like that. Painting nails, which it's one thing to painting nails, right? I don't target people that paint their nails. Hey, you do you. But at the end of the day, what I didn't like is that you practically were being cocky when you were painting your nails. When you're painting your nails, you practically said "F you, Utah," which is being cocky, and you lost. So I don't like that cockiness, bro. I like the Raider way, where it's like, hey, you trash talk and you back it up. Well, Caleb trash talked and didn't back it up, and that's what I'm looking for, right? Um, so for me, I'll pass on Caleb. To me, Caleb doesn't scream a Raider. I know a lot of people like him, which at the end of the day, if we draft him, I'm not gonna be mad or throwing my TV across the room or throwing my phone across the room. But I will say that my preferred option would be Jaden Daniels in that case. He just fits the Raiders, bro. He's more of a Raider, bro. Like I now that I'm looking about free agency stuff like this, I'm thinking about people that are Raiders, bro. I'm not thinking about people that are, hey, this guy has a high ceiling and a low ceiling. Let me take a chance on him. No more chances, bro. It's, hey, you get what you get, and we go out there and we perform. But yeah, shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to Kevin Lurkin, but Parham playing center according to Mitch today. Parham can play center. The question is what they're gonna do at that center position. I think they're gonna go explore their options, and if they can't get one, then it'll probably be last resort Parham there, and then getting a guard or a right tackle at that spot. But
Yeah, there's definitely a whole lot of shuffling that they can do in regards to how they move people around, especially when, like you said, with Parham being a center or a guard. I actually like him to be. I like him at guard, just because of the chemistry that he already has with the left tackle. You know what I'm saying? That we don't have to worry too much about right now. We'll worry about too much of what's going on our left side of the line. You know what I'm saying? It's more of trying to figure out what's going on with our center and everything else on the right side. So I wouldn't want to mess that chemistry that they already have with each other. And again, having someone come in who plays center, that is a center. It's not like we're having a project, like, you know what I'm saying? And I hate to say that in regards to Parham, because I don't think, I think Parham would be considered a project center. You know what I'm saying? He came in to be a guard, but he can also play center. You know what I'm saying? That was like his secondary kind of, playing field. But I really just, if we get a center, I either want a vet that's been a center, or I want somebody coming out of the draft that's what they were doing with their team. You know what I'm saying? And let's solidify this offensive line.
Eric, wait, I'm trying to read. Let me see. Both Williams and Daniels played on lesser teams. Daniels balled out at Williams camp and did nothing but make excuses. Yeah, pretty much. That's how it was, man. USC could have been something special, bro, but we fell short. I hear about Wilson possibly being on the Bears' radar. If they sign him, they may go in a different direction than quarterback. And that kind of leads me to the next topic, right? It kind of has to still do in the quarterback realm, right? Something that has emerged, and of course, this was bound to happen. It was already happening, but now it's even more. Raiders have interest in Bears quarterback Justin Fields. He's got ties, Champ Kelly. Not only that, also ties in uh, Tom Getzey and Getz himself. So at the end of the day, is it possible? Yes. Is it going to happen? I would say no. I think we've seen that Getzey and Fields just don't work together. It's just they just don't work together. And personally, I'm not as high on Justin Fields as other people are. Me personally, he's got raw talent. I can't deny that, and I can't say that he can make throws and get out of the pocket. But I gotta see more than just those two things. And I have to see it on a consistent basis, and he wasn't consistent at all. At the end of the day, he's young, yeah, obviously. And any person we draft from the NFL draft, obviously, it's gonna be a guy that has talent and is the possibility of being good. But at the end of the day, with Justin Fields, man, too much injuries, and he's easy to get injured. So for me personally, I'm out of that race. I wouldn't go for it, but I don't know. I don't know. What do you think about Justin Fields?
I'm gonna push back on it. I think there's something worth exploring in regards to that, and I say that in the sense of we don't know what was going on in that organization behind the scenes as to why that offense is not that offense did not pop over there. I was under the impression that yeah, it was solely on Fields and how they were playing, but later on in that offense, it wasn't as bad. And with that being said, I don't know. I don't know. And even with knowing the price of what it's going to take for us to possibly move up, if we have to move up in the draft, if all I have to do is give up a third rounder, you know what I'm saying, and maybe a third rounder and maybe a six or something, you know what I'm saying, a little frill at the end to get a quarterback in here that already knows the offense, or the terminology of the offense is not like we got to have someone try to figure it out. It's worth exploring, you know what I'm saying, and again, we don't know what the Bears were doing over there in that organization. We don't know how that head coach was, we've seen what McDaniels was doing over here with this team. That coach over there could have been doing the same thing with his coordinators. And I think that was another reason, we were like, hey, Getzey was kind of like but I think a lot of that, they know in the back room what's going on. So if they're really exploring, Justin Fields, then obviously it wasn't Fields or the offensive coordinator as to why they had their issues over there. And, I'll say if Fields does come over here, he's coming to a better situation, better wide receivers, more talent, better, you know what I'm saying? A whole lot of better things over here than what he had over there. So it could work.
Mm. For me, I've never been very a big Fields fan.
Mhm.
When you look at his resume so far in the NFL, right? At the end of the day, the Bears was kind of dysfunctional. They kind of got rid of some players, brought in some players, a lot of things going around. But at the end of the day, when you look at what he has put on the field, a quarterback of this highly respected by many in the NFL, and a lot of Raider Nation respects him and thinks he's top 15 and stuff like that. You got to look at his statistical standpoints as well. He's never completed more than 61.4, I believe, percentage of his passes in a season. He has a 40 to 30 touchdown to interception ratio. Not only that, he's also missed 2 games in 2022, then doubled it in 2023 with 4 games missed. It's a guy that um, is not top 15 in my eyes, and I know people are gonna be like, oh my god, this guy just said that Justin Fields is not top 15. Who's the other top 15? Well, let me make my list and then I'll give it to you. But obviously with Justin Fields, just by what he has done so far, I don't get the first round hype around him about people being like he's worth a first rounder or second. And I kind of agree with you when you say a third. I think you do explore that at a third, fourth. But I think nothing more than a third and fourth for me.
Mhm.
I think anything more than that, like a second, first, is overpaying in my eyes. Just because so far, I think every other NFL team has leverage over the Chicago Bears. Because for one, if the Chicago Bears truly want to go a different route, then that already gives the other teams leverage. They already want to get rid of their quarterback. They want to get a new quarterback. Then a second leverage is Justin Fields hasn't been statistically good at the quarterback position at passing specifically. And then once people shut down, do that quarterback contain stuff, QB spy, then what can he do? And then obviously that gives everybody else leverage. It's like, hey, he has not been that good. Hey, we have leverage over you guys, not you guys. So obviously. And then the third leverage is like, hey, if Chicago Bears says, hey, this guy has a lot of potential. Hey, we don't know if we can unlock that potential. That gives us leverage too. It's a 50-50. So there's a lot of leverage on the other teams at the end of the day. Any team that trades for him is gonna have leverage. So that's the good thing about it. And I think the Raiders should explore it just to explore it because that's another quarterback option at the end of the day. And just like Twan said, there is a bigger and better team over here than there was in Chicago Bears. So for that, he would be in a better situation with more talent around him. And another year under Getty, hopefully they get it together. But that would only be worth the third, fourth, maybe a fifth. I'm not doing no second or first for Fields at all.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm really on that third round and lower because again, I feel like we can if we're gonna spend a first or a second, I rather play that I rather play the game in the draft. You know what I'm saying? I rather get Bo Nix in the
Mhm.
second round or Penix in the second round if that's the case. But yeah, if we can get him for a third or lower, then yeah, because again, you also like I said, he'll be coming off the ground running too in regards to Getsy because Getsy already knows how he pretty much how he gets down as a quarterback and what he needs to work on and all of that stuff too. So it'll help us. It'll help us. I'm not saying that that's exactly what I want to happen, but I could see that being a possibility.
Shout out to Gam 110. What's good? Good to see Egalitarian in the building. Salute. Good to see everybody joining in, man. I'm sorry if I skipped your comment. I think if we want Daniels, we're gonna have to get in front of New England and Arizona. Those picks are being shopped. So if we want our guy, we might have to get number one to get our guy. Um, it all depends, on the moves they make. I think you're not gonna see any moves until free agency hits, because then free agency you kind of see what the market is saying, what quarterbacks go where. what veteran quarterbacks go where, who would rather go the veteran route, who's gonna trade what, who's gonna release what, and you're starting to see it, right? There's a lot of people getting released. Dexter Lawrence, I believe, got released. A couple others are getting released little by little. So at the end of it, we gotta kind of wait a little bit to see who gets released because of cap casualties.
And also with that, we were just talking about Fields. They're going to, is checkers, is chess not checkers, right? It's a situation where the Bears are going to wait to the last minute to show their hand, right? Because right now we don't know if they're going to, we don't know if they're really like Fields, or if they're actually going to want to move on from that number one pick. You know what I'm saying? Like they're filling things out, but free agency is going to let us know for sure what they're which way they're going. You know what I'm saying? Because in free agency, they're going to have to get rid of, get rid of Fields in order to get their quarterback, or stay put. You know what I'm saying? And play ball from there. So there's a lot of parity. Even, usually we know the first pick is, a shoe in, and we know for even months in advance who's going to be the first pick. But this situation is really up in the air. But we'll hopefully see a little bit of that crack open in free agency.
Facts, man. Shout out to, hopefully I said your name right, Kawaka. For a mobile quarterback, Fields gets sacked every 1.8 dropbacks. He has zero field for pressure. That's another statistic there too, man. At the end of the day, we all got leverage over Fields. So I think Fields is one of those things that you just have to explore, to see what they're asking for. It doesn't hurt to make a phone call. I always say this in the NFL. It doesn't hurt to make a phone call. What's the worst that could happen? A no? Like, something that you don't like, you say no. So for me, obviously, you gotta explore every single option you got, and at the end of the day, Justin Fields is an option. Um, so for me, we gotta wait and see what different teams are gonna do. Like kind of like Vegas, right? Everybody got their poker face on right now. Serious. Nobody's saying nothing. There's rumblings, but besides that, no organization is coming out saying, "Hey, we want this guy," or "We're gonna do this." They're giving you hints, but they're not giving you the exact thing, right? They're scaring everybody, right? The Raiders are doing a scare tactic too, and the tactic they're doing is going on podcasts and saying the same thing over and over again, so everybody got to implement it in their heads. When they're asked about, you seen Antonio Pierce go on like 5 different podcasts already in the span of 2 weeks, and the things he's saying is saying, "Hey, we're going to be aggressive. We're going to get our guys. We're going to get Raiders. We're going to get people that want to be here. We're going to get people that are going to come out here and play at a high standard." And he continues to say that. Now, what are other teams going to think of that, right? They're going to think, hey, these guys are going to go for superstar talent. We better snag up some players before they get down there. And that's called desperate moves. And now, desperate moves come with the cost. When you get desperate moves and you get desperate, it could go left pretty damn quick. And then I like what Tom Telesco too. When he got an interview, he practically said, "Hey, not only is the draft very important, just like everybody says, people don't really talk about free agency. Free agency is a perfect way to complement your players." And then he talks about, "Hey, if there's a player out there that we want, we're gonna do everything we can to trade for that player. We're gonna get him, and we're gonna bring him here, and he's gonna play." And that's an interesting thing. That's an interesting thing. But shout out to everybody, man. Stokasa says rumor Commanders are doing extensive homework on Jane. Well, they got to, right. They have the number 2 pick, I believe, was their number 3, number 2, and they got to do the homework on every quarterback. At the end of the day, they're not gonna go Sam Howell, and they got a good offense. If you guys don't see the Commanders' offense, how much potential they got a high potential, man. And if they want to compete against the Eagles and the Cowboys, they got to come out here and get a quarterback of the future. And with Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, Jahan Dotson, Antonio Gibson, Brian Robinson, they got themselves an offense, and Logan Ryan as well. I think Logan Thomas, my bad.
It's kind of crazy how the number one pick is unpredictable, but I think that second pick is is
It's
kind of
out of,
already
yeah.
it's kind of already.
It's
Yeah.
interesting. It's interesting. It This draft is gonna be very surprising. I ain't gonna lie, I already know it, bro, and I'm very excited to be live during that draft, man. It's gonna be an exciting one. It's really gonna be exciting. Um, at the end of the day, hopefully the Raiders make the right moves. It's gonna be. I just know it's gonna be a year where we're gonna be very surprised and we're gonna be excited. I think those two things are gonna happen, but I know they're gonna pull out a move that's from left field, bro. I already know, bro. They're gonna pull out a move that's gonna hit us all and be like, "What the hell? We didn't expect that." And it's not gonna be like the Devontae Adams feeling, but it's gonna be damn near like the Devontae Adams feeling, bro. And I I know they're gonna pull something like that, bro. I just have a gut feeling about it, bro. And the last time I had a gut feeling about things, it was two times. A really strong gut feeling. It's been two times, and it's been when the Raiders ended up hiring Antonio Pierce as the full head coach, and then the feeling when Devontae Adams became a Raider. Literally the same day Devontae Adams became a Raider, I was live for that, and I was very, very, very keen on Adams becoming a Raider. And it was like an hour before the news dropped, and then the news dropped. So for me, obviously, I have another gut feeling, man, and I hope it's the right gut feeling again. Hopefully, it's a positive move. Washington looking at Caleb. Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury has the ties to Caleb Williams, man. If I were to predict what quarterback goes to Washington, it's Caleb Williams. And at the end of the day, Caleb Williams wants to go to a spot that has receivers, has running backs, has the offensive line. Well, that's Washington for you. As much as they suck in the NFC West, well, NFC, what is it? NFC East, NFC South. I don't fucking. Um, at the
Washington.
end of the yeah, the
Yeah,
Washington.
that's the East.
East. So obviously they have an offense, man. Believe it or not, with the record doesn't show everything. They got an offense. All they need is somebody under helm and a couple pieces on the offensive line, and they got themselves a team on the offensive side of the ball. So obviously Caleb will fit good there because Caleb wants to go to a team that he desires, that he wants to, hey, have people around him, and that's Washington at the end of the day. Raiders are there at their best with solid O line in place. Built that shit. That's a fact, man. Me and Twuan always say the same thing. Build the team no matter who's under center. We said it before Carr was gone. We said it after he was gone. You have to build the team, bro. And regardless, so then you could put whatever quarterback you bring in, you put them in the greatest position ever to succeed. That's building the team. And we got a defense. Believe it or not, we got a defense.
And it's about to get better.
It's gonna get better.
That's why that's why I'm so excited about free agency, because as soon as the report comes out that we picked up one of the top corners in the free agency, I'm like, let's go. Because that to me, I can kind of get by with the guys that we have on our D line. Yes, we can upgrade there at the D line. Of course, I would love to get that premier defensive tackle, pass rusher. But if we could just get a corner, you know what I'm saying, a real, you know what I'm saying, like a Jalen Johnson or something like that on the other side of Jack Jones, like that's going to give time for the linemen, you know what I'm saying, the D line to get to the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So the pass helps out the rush. So yeah, if we get a corner in free, that's kind of what I really would like in free agency is a corner, and the second would definitely be a D tackle.
There's four things last year that the defense did really good that benefited us a lot, and that's four different players emerging, being good, and fitting the system. Number one, I would say Malcolm Kuntz. I always said give this guy snaps. He emerged, started helping out Max Crosby, so that's one emerging player that helped this defense, and that's going to continue to help this defense. Number two, Antonio Pierce, because at the end of the day, y'all got to remember Antonio Pierce was the linebackers coach originally. He developed one of the strongest positions on the defense when we all thought it was going to be one of the weakest. People don't give him credit for that. One of the weakest positions ever on the Raiders side.
I got to throw myself under the bus, because I was I was one of those main ones, like,
Hey,
we
I
ain't got
throw
no
myself.
linebackers.
I throw myself too.
We
We
ain't
had
got no linebackers. All we got is Spillane.
exactly.
Spillane was Spillane. When I was talking about it, Spillane was I said we got a Spillane, but Spillane is still a question mark for me. So yeah,
Me too.
yeah.
That's a
Shout
fact.
out,
I was
shout
going.
out to
Yep.
AP for getting our linebackers together for real.
And a lot of people don't give him credit for that. He did that. He's a linebackers coach, and he developed Devon Diablo. He made Spillane play better because he was bad at coverage when before he became a Raider. Became one of the best ones, statistically top 15 across the board. Like he did good there. So that's another emerging thing that happened that helped the defense. Another emerging thing was Jack Jones coming into the thing and playing exactly how we are. Well, I know some people predicted it, but what me and Twan were raving about. People were like, "Damn, get off of Jack Jones. Why do you think he's that good? He didn't show too much effort with the Patriots." Well, it's because he didn't want to play for the coach. All he needed was somebody that he wanted to play for. He's gonna go out there and show out, and he screams a Raider. I said this 2 years ago, and I kind of showed it when Jack Jones originally became a Raider this season. Um, I showed the video of where I talked about Jack Jones as a sleeper in the NFL draft 2 years ago, and that was because I always was a fan of him, man. The guy just screamed the Raider, man. His trash talking ability, backing it up, being aggressive. That's what I want our corner to do. And at the end of the day, yes, sometimes it bites him in the ass, but at the end of the day, most of the time, he bites them. You feel me? So at the end of the day, I like that pickup. That really helped us in that cornerback room, and now just getting another quarterback next to him would be good. And then obviously another emerging thing is the safeties don't get that much love. Both of these safeties, they ended up becoming good, better
Yeah.
than expected. Trayvon Merrick was getting burnt every other second the year before, but then he came into this year and it became a little bit better. It kind of looks like Epps' knowledge kind of helped him. Um, you know, and Jason Simmons coaching and all these guys coaching him did him good. And now that Patrick Graham is coming, it looks like coming back another year. Um, he's gonna let loose, and he's gonna have a full off season of having the handcuffs off. You remember last year he was handcuffed in the beginning of the season with Josh McDaniels. Now he's not handcuffed right off rip, so he's gonna want guys that are gonna benefit him. Which there's one guy out there that is a Giant, an ex Giant, that is a free agent, I believe now. Um, Actually, two, if I'm not mistaken. Goes by the name of what SoCal South said right there, y'all. Leonard Williams is one of them. And I believe Dexter Lawrence got released as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Hey, either one. I'm sorry. I know. I forgot which one's older. One of them is a old. I think Dexter
I'll check
Lawrence
right
is the
now.
older one, right?
I'll check right now.
Yeah. Either
He's
one.
26. And then, let me see. Leonard Williams, 29.
Got it.
So Dexter's younger.
Got it. Yeah. Either one, man. Like that's a upgrade, what I'm saying, at our D tackles. As much as someone, and as much as we may like some of the D tackles that we have here, some of those guys, again, it's competition, and they're just gonna have to go. I personally, I like Adam Butler, and I like, old man Jenkins. You know what I'm saying? But I know a lot of people, they like Tillery. I know a few guys, they like Bilal Nichols. But yeah, we definitely need to upgrade there, and it would be great to have a household name right in the middle of our defense, and getting one of those guys would definitely help out our line, where we have not just one set, but we have multiple sets that we can roll out there to get the job done.
Hmm. And my bad, I don't think Dexter Lawrence has been released, but he's a trade block guy that they're staying. Which, for me, if you were to ask me which one of the two, I think Dexter Lawrence fits more for us, just because he's more of the nose tackle that we need. In the Patrick Graham system, nose tackle is one of the most important things. And Leonard Williams can't play there, but he goes around a lot. Edge rusher, the the three tech, the four, like he goes everywhere across the defensive line. For me, I want that true nose tackle that plays that position and plays at a high level. And that's Dexter Lawrence. And I think you go out there and that's the guy that you ask for, and you go make the call and you go ask, hey, what you want? You feel me? You guys are going through a rebuild. We need some pieces. So what are you willing to take for him? And I think the most they're gonna ask is for a second or third. And I know people might say, "What are you talking about?" Well, if you notice all the trades in the NFL so far in the past season and a half, you would see that a lot of people are pennies that are
Pennies.
good players. Number one of the best running backs, if not the best running back of last season, and consistently scored a touchdown each game. Also was in the Super Bowl. Christian McCaffrey for a bunch of pennies. Like there was a bunch of pennies.
I forgot what D Hop went for.
He went for a bag of chips.
I'm saying like stuff like that, and that's what makes me mad. Like when we hear the reports, oh, the Eagles got so and so for a fifth round pick. Man, we could have threw a fifth at that dude. Like, and I know a lot of us do that. Like every time we see another team
Yep.
get something, like man, we could throw a sixth round at that guy. Like, come on now.
It's a fact. And let me give a shout out to everybody that's coming in right now. Shout out to J Dog in the building. What's good? Good to see you. Shout out to All Eyes on G. Salute. Good to see you. Shout out to Raider Ben in the building. What's good, Ben? Good to see you as well. Shout out to everybody that's coming in here, man. Hope all is well. Blessings to you guys and your family, man. Good to see everybody in here, man. I'll take Wilkins. We should have got Wilkins of a Clee. That's a fact. Wilkins. And that's a fact, sir. He said D Hop went for a half open bag of Lay's and a warm Powerade. That's what happened, bro. And that's what pisses me off. You feel me? Shout out to Eric Raiders Haters Hunter, Erica channel. What's good? Good to see you. They go hand in hand, but I believe pressure helps any cornerback, and that's a fact. And let me give you guys a perfect team that I could give you guys as an example, and that's when the Buccaneers won the Super Bowl. When the Buccaneers won a Super Bowl, that pass rush was the reason their cornerbacks were one of the best, and also some referee calls. Let's be honest, they were holding a little bit. But besides that, their pass rush made their cornerbacks look like top 10. And now you may wonder, why are the Niners going after cornerbacks that suck? Why are they going after no-name guys? Because they have a pass rush that makes that cornerback room look like the top 10 in the league. And the pass rush is one of the most important things. When you have a great pass rush, your cornerbacks don't gotta do too much work. That's what happens. Now, me, I would go in the trenches first. Go get a defensive tackle. Go get a nose tackle. Go out there and go get it.
It helps when you have a Vita Vea. That's all
Yep.
I'm saying.
Yep.
Shout out to Vita Vea. He's from my side of town.
There you go, bro. Vita Vea. Who else did they have near him? They had a whole bunch of like. I don't remember who they had. I know they had Shaquille Barrett. They had a nasty.
Because they ran a 3-4, so they had like the linebackers. They had White. I think White was over there. Yeah, there was a few pieces like in that right in the middle, like right in front. You know what I'm saying? The line, and then they had their linebackers, and then everybody else was kind of like okay. But yeah, they was really linebacker and D line heavy, and that gave Mahomes fits.
There you go. Vita Vea, Jason Pierre-Paul when he was still good, Devin White, Levante Davis, Shaquille Barrett.
Yep.
And let's be honest, nobody knew who Sean Murphy, Bunting, Jamal Dean, and Carlton Davis was gonna be until that pass rush helped them, and it was like, damn, they were the best cornerbacks there. So, obviously, I think you go out there, and if you're gonna target some players, you target a superstar at that defensive tackle room. And trust me, you would. And there you go, Steve. New York Giants with Spags. Spagnola as DC won 2 Super Bowls because of great pass rush. There you go, man. That's what it's about. And now, this is kind of off the radar look, but talking about pass rushes, apparently Joey Bosa could be leaving the Chargers to join his brother in the 49ers. That is interesting. That's an interesting thing over there, which is good for us because the Chargers are, they're cooked at that point. But another thing is that the Niners are really doing everything they can to try to win a Super Bowl, and they just keep failing. It's kind of funny to me. As much as I hate the Chiefs, and I wanted the Chiefs to fucking lose, bro, so bad. Oh my god, I would have given my life savings for them to lose. But obviously the result was what it was, and at the end of the day, all I could do is just laugh at Niner fans right now. That's all I could do right now. Yeah, I don't think we need the best cornerback in the system. Cornerback just needs to keep it in front of him and not get beat, bend, but don't break. But I do think we could get a really good cornerback. I think the name that Twan brought up is an interesting one because we have a lot of Chicago Bear ties now. And just that alone, some players might want a better system. And this is what I started looking at, right? I started looking at all these players that come from horrible teams, horrible organizations, what they do, and how they go about in free agency. I've been trying to do my research on a lot of these players that in the past few seasons came from a bad team, went into free agency, and went to another team and see if they chased the bag or they chased the team. And when I looked at it, majority of those players went to a team that they think they could fit well in, play good at. And because they're so used to being in a bad organization, a bad place, they would rather go to a team that could benefit them a lot. Now, the Raiders, believe it or not, people are going to look at this defense that happened last year and what happened with Antonio Pierce and how electric they were playing at the end of the day, and they're going to want to come. And it's not going to be like John Gruden. I said, it's not gonna be like John Gruden, where John Gruden was like, "Hey, I got all these players already calling me." But I will say there will be players that would want to play for the Raiders this year, and actually want to play.
Yeah, I think there's some people that are just waiting for, waiting for the time. You know what I'm saying? I think they wait. They like AP. I'm with you, dog. Just have your folks call me. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where some of these guys will probably hear that in the press conferences where, they're like, hey, I was just waiting for AP to, you know, call me or whatever.
Mhm.
Because
That's
it was just it's interesting. We were talking about the Niners, and I think there's some guys that are going to have to leave the Niners because of their cap situation, and you already got Ayuk talking about he already want to come over here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying I want Ayuk over here just because of how we are as a team, but yeah, you have guys that want to come over here. So we'll see what happens with that.
I ain't gonna lie, you could be. I mean, no offense to Renfro, I think a better spot for us for Renfro because he's gonna be next to Devontae Adams. Ayuk would just want to go to a better place, and if he sees us get a quarterback of the future, that could be a guy that would want to come here. And at the end of the day, he was with the Tony Pierce, and Tony Pierce kind of talked about it about different players that he left that he felt bad for leaving, but they emerged. He talked about Brandon Ayuk being one. He talked about uh, Jaden Daniels and how he won the Heisman the next season. And then he talked about Jack Jones, and he already got Jack Jones, and it looks like he's got a fair shot of getting Jaden Daniels and Brian Ayuk. But if you get both of them, man, some way somehow, which is possible at the end of the day, it's not out of the realm. It's still a possibility. You could have a really good offense, man. A really good offense, man.
It just depends on what price we're gonna have to give up for
Yeah,
Ayuk.
yeah,
You know what
that's
I'm
the
saying?
problem.
And that's really what it's gonna be. Ayuk's definitely gonna have to. I hate to say it, but he's gonna have to give us a little love because we do. Just think about it. Look how much money we're giving Da. You know what I'm saying? In the same room at for what I'm saying. So it depends on what price. Now, what I like you said, I would like I could see Ayuk being here. You know what I'm saying? But it price wise, I don't see
Mm. But obviously, we just gotta see what happens. At the end of the day, me, I'm not one of those people that are kind of like pushing for Ayuk to come.
it.
You know, I don't really care about it. You know, if he comes, he comes. If he doesn't, he doesn't. You know, I'm not that like, hey, yeah, come. But I think he is a good player. You know, at the end of the day, he would compliment us. But at the end of the day, like you said, Devontae Adams is costing a lot of money. So either you go over there and restructure it. I want to see what they do with the Devontae Adams contract, how they go about it. If they do pay him that full price, or that he takes a pay cut, or he shrinks his contract. We just gotta wait and see. Hopefully, you feel me, so we can get the players we want. At the end of the day, Jimmy Garoppolo, like I said, helped us. He helped us a lot.
Mm,
11.25 is enough for a player, easily, easily,
mm.
and enough to even bring in bring somebody like Josh Jacobs back or
Yeah, I was gonna.
somebody else. Yeah,
I said that in one of my videos. It's like, hey, we could just slide that money, You know what I'm saying? A piece of that money because I think we can really get Josh for like 8 or 9. You know what I'm saying? So we can slide that over to slide that over to Josh and hey, thanks for helping us pay Josh this year. you know,
Yeah, so at the end of the day, I like those odds. You feel me? As long as we got Jacoby next to Da, we can get better support at wide receiver. Who would you go for as far as wide receiver goes? I see All Eyes says Ayuk could stay where he's at. All Eyes, you know, like Ayuk, who you like? Let me know who would you bring in. People were losing their shit over JJ and Adam speaking up. Can you imagine once Ayuk's fam start running him out? That is true. You know what? I didn't even put that into consideration. Ayuk's family did talk a lot about the Niners after the Super Bowl. That is something interesting. That is something interesting. I don't know. Everybody's gonna lose their shit, whoever talks who. But for me, obviously, I'm not gonna. I don't pay too much mind. I just out there. I just wanted to play football.
I think part of that and I gotta dive a little deeper
Mhm.
into that drama, but I think part of that drama was just the fact that Ayuk is their kind of main guy. Debo's kind of taking that back seat, and for him to get the limited touches that he got, you know, hey, get me the ball. You know what I'm saying? Especially with Debo being hurt, because Debo was kind of limping through that game too. So why weren't you, but that's neither here or there. Didn't we have Da complaining about the same thing, not getting you know getting his? So it, I think you got to deal with that regardless, whether it's family or the player himself.
AD didn't explode until he got to the Senior Bowl. Brian Murphy, detective from Texas, the next Aaron Donald. AD didn't explode until he got to the Senior Bowl. I still need to watch tape on Byron Murphy from Texas, so I can't say he's the next Aaron Donald. Um, but obviously, speaking of like exploding on the Senior Bowl, a lot of people do explode on Senior Bowl and Combine, and sometimes that rises their stock. So for me, I gotta go review the tape for Byron Murphy. I gotta go look at the D tackles. I've been looking at the offense right now side of the ball, but I need to flip to the defensive side of the ball. Also with the Combine coming here, we're gonna see what happens. Um, how do you feel about trading Adams to the Jets for the number 10 pick and take Neighbors or Adunze? Get younger at wide receiver if we trade up for a quarterback. Well, everybody knows that I'm a big fan of Roma Dunze, and I'm a big fan of the wide receiver draft class this year. But for me, obviously, I would keep Adams. I think at the end of the day, Adams wants to be here. I think Adams. I think they're gonna work with him and hopefully restructure that contract and do something with it. Um, but I do think he wants to stay.
It
And because of that, I think he stays.
it could be and I see what he's trying to do. It could be a nice look because you're get that obviously if you're trading Da, that means you're not having to pay that amount of money, but obviously you're taking a risk on Odunze or whoever being a number one wide receiver. Yeah, they look good right now, but we don't know what happens when they line up against the real big dogs. So I see that trying to cut money, trying to save that, but I think Da is a piece here. They're just gonna have to, you like Eric said, they're gonna have to figure out how they're going to move that money. There's ways to move the money if they really want to, and it's just up to Da. If he wants to extend that, how he wants to play that out. With his, however he wants to do his situation there. But I think just my personal belief, I think Da will, try to make it work for us.
Good guy.
You know, in the long run.
He says I'm mostly interested in working with what we got on offense besides the line. I mean, our offense is pretty good. I mean, it just needs a little bit of extra pieces. Um, for me, obviously, I think another tight end would do good. I think we had like one tight end at the end because of everybody getting injured. Um, so we just need you feel me,
Yeah,
an extra one there.
and Austin Hooper wasn't a hooper.
Mm-mm. So obviously offensive line, quarterback. I think Adams is gonna have a big say in like the quarterback. I think, or I think he's gonna have some type of like I think they're gonna ask him, hey, how you feel about this guy? And if he says, hey, he seems like a good guy, they would get him. I think they're gonna use a lot of the players. You know, you hear a lot of like Antonio Pierce specifically kind of talk about players coach,
Mm.
players. It's all the players make the team. The players make the team, and that kind of makes me realize that they're gonna give the players a say in a lot of things. Which in some cases could be bad, could be good, but so far it's been looking like it's been good when they gave the players a little bit of a freedom. Wide receiver Franklin Sips the second round trade up to snag would be fire too. Troy Franklin the third from Oregon, man. I like him a lot. He's a little speedster guy. But obviously, some might take him in the first. Who knows? Just was thinking about a young quarterback and wide receiver to come and grow together would definitely be beneficial. It would. Um, it's just where are the Raiders are now, right?
Did you click on
Uh,
it?
oh, it's right there. Hold on. I didn't click
Oh.
on it. Right here. Sorry, my bad.
I
Um,
was like,
so
what?
when it comes down to the whole young quarterback, young wide receiver, that would be a good kind of combination, right? They grow together. But are the Raiders in a position to have these two grow right now?
Yeah, I
That's the question, right? And for me, I think you just bring a young quarterback in, and that's it. As far as young talent, and maybe get a wide receiver from the second, third, fourth round. But I do think that the Raiders are in a position right now that is, hey, you could either go two steps back again or go one step forward. And the one step forward is, hey, you were a borderline playoff team with all the implications that were happening with Josh McDaniels being cut in the beginning, handcuffing some of your players, handcuffing some of your coaches. Uh, you had a rookie head coach, a rookie offensive coordinator, and a rookie quarterback, a fourth round rookie quarterback, all start the second half of the season and you still were a borderline playoff team. Now, that borderline playoff team could become a playoff team in one off season. And this is the important off season. This year, this time in the next 2 months, March, April, draft, free agency is the time for the Raiders to take that step forward. And I think we're in a position right now to be a playoff team. We're not in a position to, hey, let's try to develop people. I think we're in a position to, hey, we're a borderline playoff team that could easily be a playoff team with the right moves this offseason. And that all starts at the quarterback position. You wonder why they're very aggressive. They wouldn't be aggressive at the quarterback position if they thought they could just ride it out and just be like, hey, you know what? Aiden O'Connell, you're good, bro. We got a little bit of years to work. The reason why they're going so hard, and I kept pause on that. Um, the reason why it's been the way it's been right now, why Antonio Pierce is grabbing all this head coaching experience, why he's bringing in player coaches, why he's bringing in people that complement each other, why he's bringing and keeps saying that he wants to bring Raiders, is because they're finally doing what they were supposed to do for many years now, and that's give the head coach and the coordinators 2 years max to do something because now they're not obligated to say, "Hey, I have 5 years on my contract. I'm gonna just wait 3 years from now. I have 3 years to build this team, pretty much." And that's what John Gruden did. Which at the end of the day, that John Gruden team could be something special if he would have stayed in the league, obviously. But what happened? Like at the end of the day, he thought he did bad his first year, and then second he did a little bit of improvement, and then did a little bit of improvement following year. And that was because he said he had time. He had 10 years. He was like, "Hey, I'm gonna ride it out. I'm gonna get pieces little by little, and I'm gonna just, you know, breeze past the season." And same thing with Josh McDaniels. He had more than 2 years on his contract, and he was trying to do the same thing. Hey, I'm gonna rebuild a little. I'm not gonna retool this. I'm gonna rebuild it. I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna do what I want. And now finally, with Cliff Kingsbury, the contract details coming out that it was supposed to be 2 years and he wanted 3 years, it kind of shows that these guys have limited time to execute. So, you feel me? Look, Mark can't fool the nation no more. That's a fact. Gruden was on cruise control, and that's a fact because he had 10 years on his contract. When you get 10 years on your contract, you're just sitting back and you're like, hey, I could do whatever the hell I want. I'm going to bring whoever I want in this time. I got until 2020, 2030 to do something to win a Super Bowl. Well, not anymore.
And I think that was exactly, and while we're talking about it, I think that's exactly how it played out, because when when Gruden was here, what was our team doing? We were slowly getting better. I think every year we won at least one more game. You know what I'm saying? So it like, just keep rolling that for 10 years. And eventually when you got to the 10-year, I'm not saying it was going to take 10 years, but get closer to that 10-year mark, we probably won't be really running. Because I think, and like you said, with Gruden, you could tell that things were starting to get a little bit better, but it wasn't like the huge jumps higher. It was just like these little small snail climbing up the hill steps, and that's what we got. So, and we still would have been sitting, if it wasn't for the doggone emails, we probably still would have been sitting here, you know what I'm saying, talking about Gruden and what was Gruden gonna pick, for the draft and stuff like that. Because again, Gruden was slowly getting better, but not making the big jumps. But I think Mark Davis has, like he's told us, he's smartened up. You know what I'm saying? And there's certain things that are being put in place that we didn't have before, and all of that. And even with the coaching staff, Eric, I think a lot of the reasons why you're seeing not just people that were, head coaches in other areas coming in for us is not just for the experience, but I think there's also, I think AP's also reaching back. I think he's also looking at, oh, you know what? There's this guy over here that I actually really liked when I was, in this other place. And, I wish he would have got the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So guess what? I'm going to give him the opportunity here. And that may springboard him for we might get some head coaches coming out of, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say the AP tree, but you know what I'm talking about. There might be some coaches coming out of this group that AP has put together. We already know Patrick Graham is he's a bubbler in regards to, getting a head coach position. He was getting, he was getting interviews and stuff like that. So it could be any time now for him. But who else? You know what I'm saying? Who else can, out of this staff, in a year or two, can be a head coach in this league? Who knows?
It's a fact, man. He's bringing a lot of head coaching experience guys, man, and that's interesting. That's interesting because that's kind of leading to the players. Hey, we got a lot of people out here that you could talk to that will help you and give you different philosophies, and you could grab one of each. I don't know if you guys seen this is like a show, right? If you watch the Karate Kid movies, I'm pretty sure everybody has watched the Karate Kid movies. If you guys have watched those movies, if you guys know this new show that came out right recently called Cobra Kai or whatever, which is like a sequel of them with their kids and stuff like that. In that, they kind of it kind of leads to the kids kind of grabbing a little bit of each technique of karate, and that's kind of the same way here. These players have the ability now to grab from Antonio Pierce, grab from Marvin Lewis, man, even grab from Tom Coughlin because he still has some ties to Antonio Pierce and he's gonna bring him around. Now the new head coach experience guy grabs some from Joe Philbin. Like they get to grab from all these head coaches that's gonna help them. And that's what I like about this staff team. A lot of people are like, "Who is this? Who is this? Oh, this guy's garbage. Why are we doing? What are we doing?" That's how it was with the quarterback coach. I heard the quarterback coach got a lot of hate, and I was looking at it and I was researching him, and I could see why he got a lot of hate. But at the end of the day, there's other coaches here that are gonna help that quarterback's coach. It's not only gonna be his job; it's gonna be other people's job helping him too. And that's what people aren't realizing. They're building a staff team that if one staff doesn't know what to do on this certain area, there's another staff member that's going to help that area.
I
And
I, I,
that's
thought,
what
I
it's.
thought. Well, go
Oh,
ahead.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No,
No,
go ahead.
no.
Go ahead. Already
No,
finished. Yeah.
I thought we got the quarterback whisperer already on the team. No, I'm saying no. I'm serious. Like who's Hugh Jackson?
That is true. That
You know
is
what I'm
true.
saying? Hugh Jackson, they called him the quarterback whisperer. He was able to relate to these quarterbacks. Well, guess what? If the quarterbacks coach can't can't get into these quarterbacks' heads and get whatever they need to get out, there goes Hugh Jackson, someone that has worked with quarterbacks, that is known for working with quarterbacks, can be like, hey, try this, or hey, do this with me. And so there's a I think I wish I could be a fly on the wall in the coaches meeting when they're breaking down, oh, we're going against this team. What scheme do we think? Because again, here goes Patrick Graham, right? Patrick Graham likes to run a multiple type of defense, right? So who knows what style of defense we come out week to week when this roster really comes out. You know what I'm saying? So it could be like, what do you guys want to run? I think we should run this. Okay, Hugh Jackson, I know you're good at this. Go ahead and lead this. You know what I'm saying? And that's what AP would like, hey, go delegating, pointing to people, do that. Take care of that. I like this. Okay, we ain't doing that. We gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? So AP's just, Coach AP is calling shots and letting the seasoned guys around him do the job.
And Robert, obviously that's gonna happen, right? Coaches like to, and general managers that have played for another or been in another team are gonna bring guys that they think is good to come bring over here. Obviously, that's gonna happen. That's no question. There's gonna be some players that is. I wouldn't be mad. At the end, these Chargers in Chicago has some great talent over there. Like, as much as their record says otherwise, they had great talent. At the end of the day, they had great talent. Believe it or not, they had it. And the problem with those two different teams is that they had a lot of, how do I say this? A lot of coaching guys that couldn't coach, a lot of locker room things that happened. And that's what happened with both of these organizations. At the end of the day, Chargers always choke. That's always been their motto over there. And for Chicago, it's always been rebuild, rebuild ever since those days where they had one of the best defenses in recent times, and then they just shrunk after that. So who
I'll
knows,
say it
right?
like this: there's players to pick from every team. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta make sure you get the right ones, right? And I'll say this in regards to the Bears. They had Leatherwood on their offensive line. You know what I'm saying? So that's an upgrade for the quarterback, right? If he comes over here. So there's guys that they're all gonna pick from, just based off of who they know, who they think will work over here. We just have to trust that our coaches will coach them up and put them in place where they need to be. And again, where we are as a team, we don't have a whole lot of main pieces that we have to fill. So get in where you fit in, and may the best man win in competition, because we know that AP, no matter who comes in, is going to
Right,
be a competition. He's already said that, top to bottom.
right. Our new quarterbacks coach, Rich and Greenlow, worked with Caleb and Will Levis. Oh, I didn't know he worked with Caleb. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's interesting. That's very interesting. Um, but at the end of the day, we're gonna see what they do, man. It's gonna be an exciting. I would say an exciting. When is free agency actually? Let me actually check this. Free. I know it's next month, but I want to see what date. March 11th. So it's right off rib next month. However,
Mm-hmm.
actually, free agency does not start until the beginning of the official league new year on March 13th at 4 p.m. Eastern.
So
Less than a month away. Yeah,
the tampering period, and
it's
then
the 11th, and then the
yeah.
13th is like when it officially starts. So I'm gonna be live for that, y'all. So it looks like next week there will be, which this concludes the live for today. You feel me? There is 4 days next week that I will do the combine. 4 days in a row. Thursday, I believe it starts Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in the early morning to the, I mean, in the late morning to the early afternoon. So be there, please. You feel me? If you want to come by, watch the combine with us, and stay
We
tuned. I don't know who's gonna join me, but
you
I'll
said
talk to you.
Thursday?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
What
So
time is it Thursday?
we have to talk about Thursday because it starts early. Like I mean, it starts early. I think. Hold on, let me see. Combine date and time for drills. Oh wait. It starts the 29th, which is Thursday, and it starts off with the defensive linemen slash linebackers,
Mm-hmm.
and that is at yeah, it's early, bro. We have to talk about that day, bro. 3 p.m. Eastern. 2-1-12-11. So wait. Am I doing the time right? 2-1
12.
12 to possibly like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, maybe. I don't know. Then the defensive backs and tight ends are the next day on March 1st, which starts at 3 p.m. Eastern again, 12. And then the quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs is on that Saturday, March 2nd at 1 p.m. Eastern. So 10 a.m. And then the offensive line, 10 a.m. again on the March 3rd. Okay, this you guys know me, man. I'm a part-time goddamn streamer and goddamn now I gotta do 4 days in a row early as hell. So it's
Hey, your mind was racing just like mine. Like, okay, let me figure out how I'm gonna get
yeah, it's gonna be
content
interesting.
creator stuff for real. Hey, but
But honestly,
we'll figure it out. We'll figure it
we'll
out.
figure it out. We'll figure it
Maybe
out.
we'll do a 2-for-1, you know what I'm saying, version of the combine. Maybe find
Yeah,
our next Jack Jones, you know what I'm saying?
that's a fact. That's a fact. And it's interesting because they used to have I think they switched it up. I could have sworn that it was like there was like a one day that was boring. That it was like just like the tight ends and like special
Yeah, it
teams
was
or
like
something.
the offensive lineman or something like that. It was just like, okay,
Like
we ain't trying
that.
to see y'all. Like
But
it.
now they mixed it up though. There's still just one day for offensive lineman, but this year's offensive lineman is pretty damn good this season. I mean, in the NFL draft, really
Okay.
good offensive lineman. And
Yeah,
now with the Raiders actually targeting offensive linemen, we gotta look at
you
that.
gotta
We
look
gotta
at it.
look at that combine. Um, and I think every day there's something. Look at the defensive lineman, linebackers. We need one. Boom. First day. Defensive backs, tight end. We need a defensive back. Boom. Second day. Maybe a tight end. Quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs. Third day. Wow, we need to look at that. An offensive line, we gotta look at every day.
Yeah,
Interesting. It's gonna be interesting.
yeah.
But shout out to everybody, man. I appreciate everybody for being here, man. You feel me? Gruden has messed up at least 7 draft picks from first to third round, maybe even 10. But he did have some values, which was Mike Mayock, you feel me? Michael Coons, you feel me? Max Crosby, Nate Hobbs. There's some interesting ones there. But hey, Twan, let him know your next show, video, where they can find
Man,
you.
I got something cooking. You know what I'm saying? I got something cooking for y'all. I can't even tell y'all all of it. You know what I'm saying? But stay tuned. I got something, and God, it's iconic. I'm just gonna say it's iconic. I don't think any other content creator has talked about this and broke it down the way that I'm about to break this down. I'm putting all the pieces together. That's what I'm saying. I haven't put it all together, but stay tuned for that. I'm also going to be working. I was supposed to do some. I'm supposed to be doing something tonight, but I'm probably gonna have to move that back. But I still have to drop my video on the offensive line coach because I have something for him, the information on him, so you guys get that. And you guys know 2 for 1 Nation podcast all the time. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Okay. I know some of you guys have been listening, some of you guys have been watching, but go ahead and subscribe to RaiderTwuan. I'm actually a few away from a small goal that I have on my way to 500 subscribers. So if you have not, come on over to RaiderTwuan and subscribe. I think that is it. Oh yeah. If you need prayer for you or your family members, hit me up on IG at TwanTwan, TWUAN. Remember, you are a blessing. Be a blessing to someone else. And let's go Lakers.
Also, in the description, it says IG and YouTube in the description on my channel. I think it's down there.
The Lakers
And yes,
played them.
okay. So I thought I said Mayock's picks. Yeah, it's Mayock's picks now. You're right. Shout out to Raider Bigs. Love the combo, fellas. Keep up the god work. You already know what it is. And the kangaroos flowing in are yo. If you know, you know, man. I kind of announced it before, man. You feel me? One love to the fam, man. Shout out to Faith. Was good. But shout out to everybody, man. For me, I'm cooking up some videos. I gotta edit some videos. I'm gonna drop them after the combine because free agency is the next one after there, and I'm gonna be talking about free agency, on one of the videos. So stay tuned for that. Also after the combine, I might do like a breakdown of each combine day. Um, in a little YouTube short, a little quick thing saying what's the top five in this drill, this one, who was the top five player, who rose their stock, who didn't, draft stock up, down, off the combine each day. And then on top of that, obviously, in shout out to Raider Nation Drinking Club, Blood Up Door, and Vic Sacramento, everybody joining us right now, man. If you guys can hit
Yay!
that like, the subscribe if you're new, man. And obviously, a lot to come to the channel, man. Stay tuned. Next week there will be 4 lives in a row, so stay tuned for that. Combine. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, early morning, early afternoon. Stay tuned for that. I will be making those lives probably 2 days prior to each one. So go over there, go over there, go over there. Um, and Raider Bigs, I will be live for the draft. Last year, I wasn't live on my channel for the first round, but I believe maybe I'll be live for my first round. It just depends if I have people over. That's what it all depends on. If not, I'll go right after. And then obviously the second day of the draft, I'll for sure be live. And the third day, obviously. And yes, Cool Kid, 4 lives, and I'm actually gonna do it, bro. And if I could pull it off, it would be a miracle. So we go see next week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Y'all stay tuned for that SC Raiders Talk, RaiderTwuan, man. 2 for 1 Nation podcast, man. We appreciate you guys, man. Eric is on Australian time. It's pretty bad on Australian time, bro. I ain't gonna lie. It's early morning over there right now, so it's tough. But shout out to everybody, man. Blessings to you guys and your family. It's tough telling their lives, but tough people do. Remember, life is too short, so always tell your loved ones you love them, man. And on that note, y'all, see y'all next week, man. 4 days in a row. We all gotta prepare for this. But shout out to you guys, man. Blessings to you guys and your families. And I'm gonna see if I drop a video next week, man. We go see. On that note, y'all, SC Raiders Talk, aka your boy Eric, man. I'm a boy RaiderTwuan, man, and we are out. Let me find it. Peace.
Is the will to win. Is the will to win.
Your commitment to excellence and your will to win